Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nonverbal Communication for Change. So here's just a quick review of some of the nonverbal cues that we have previously gone over. Kinesics, which are movements, gestures, and facial expressions. Paralanguage, which is your tone, your pitch, volume. These are things that convey emotion. Proxemics, which is the space, distance, or territory that we put between ourselves and others. Oculesics, which is our eye contact and gaze. Haptics, which is the things that we do to touch or feel one another. Chronemics, which is time, and personal appearance. So, take a moment to look at this picture to the right of Miley Cyrus and Robin Thicke. What are some of the nonverbal cues that they are using to communicate with one another? Right, so in this picture you will see that they do use proxemics. There's a certain spatial distance between them. Robin Thicke was married at the time, so of course they're going to have a little bit more space between them. If he would have been performing with his wife, maybe he would have been closer to her, perhaps. Also, there's using oculesics and eye contact. Robin Thicke seems to be looking or staring at Miley Cyrus, and Miley Cyrus seems to be looking at something, not necessarily his eyes, but she is using eye contact to look in his direction. Haptics, Miley Cyrus is certainly touching him with that foam finger. Their personal appearance does demonstrate certain things about them. You can't really see paralanguage because it's a picture, not a video, and we don't really know much about time according to this picture, but there are certain cues, proxemics, there are oculesics, and haptics that they were using in this image. So today we're going to be talking about our nonverbal communication for change. A big issue in San Jose is homelessness. According to the San Jose Mercury News, we have the nation's 5th highest homeless population. San Jose is also ranked among the places with the most chronically homeless and homeless children and young adults. We have the country's highest percentage of unsheltered veterans. In addition to this, encampments in San Jose are being torn down, which is displacing even more homeless people. And there's also a high percentage of mentally ill people who are homeless in San Jose. A quick side note just for your information, the San Jose City Council just recently proposed an ordinance to require a permit to feed the homeless. What message is this sending? It's basically saying, don't feed the animals. When you go to the zoo, they have signs up, or officials who tell you, do not throw food in the cages, you cannot feed them. We are now being told or suggested that we should do the same thing for the homeless. We should not feed them. And if you do feed them, you'll either be cited or fined. We may not think that we have communication with the homeless, but in fact we do. A lot of the times we use nonverbal communication when interacting with the homeless. Oftentimes we'll use our oculesics. We tend to look away or divert our eyes to our cell phones, the ground, the ice cream truck passing by, the dust or trash on the side of the road. We simply do not look at the homeless. Proxemics. We absolutely distance ourselves from the homeless. I've witnessed this. People will cross the street, walk the other way, or physically remove themselves from their presence altogether. Additionally, we use kinesics. Sometimes we frown or show displays of pity or disgust for the homeless. And lastly, haptics. Haptics seems to just not happen. We won't shake their hand, we won't give them a high five. If we bump into them, we kind of move away because we simply do not want to touch them at all. All of these nonverbal cues are being used in a way that dehumanizes the homeless. Changing our nonverbal communication. What are some of the things that we can do with our nonverbal communication that will humanize the homeless and hopefully bring us a step closer to reintegrating them back into society? Take a moment to write down or think about some of the solutions. Think of the cues that we can use, how we can adjust our cues to be more inclusive and more inviting. We don't want to cut off our ties or channels of communication with the homeless. What can we do? Here are just a few suggestions. We can become more aware of the nonverbal cues that we send. According to Sarah Trinholm in Thinking Through Communication, some nonverbal communication is completely unintentional. What this means is that even though we may feel that we are being empathetic and caring toward the homeless, our nonverbal cues may say otherwise. Also, we need to become more aware of the social and ethical responsibility that we have as humans. This is a part of the communication that we use. It is our social and ethical responsibility to acknowledge other people who are around us. Even if we may not like those people, even if, we're not particularly fond of them, they're still human beings. You cannot pay more attention to an animal than you do to an actual living, breathing, speaking human. We have voices. Use them. Communication is something that we cannot live without. We have to speak to one another. Use your voice. Talk to people who are homeless. Don't simply ignore them. Speak to the homeless and acknowledge the homeless. It is important that we recognize the invisible boundaries that we set. Trinholm explains that eye contact is the core of interpersonal relatedness. Avoiding eye contact in turn closes off communication channels. Interpersonal relatedness. How we relate with one another. How we relate with other human beings. Homeless people are also human. They are not invisible. Use your communication to bring them back into society, to reintegrate them. Recognize that homelessness is a real issue, and do not place blame. Instead, empathize with the homeless. You do not know the situation that got them there. Often we jump to conclusions. We think that homeless people are lazy, or are all people of color, or, whatever. You need to understand that homelessness people come from many different backgrounds. Some people used to be previous law professors. Some people are mothers. Some people are even college students. A lot of college students find themselves in debt and unable to pay back their college loans. It could be you that's homeless. Wouldn't you want somebody to talk to you, to simply say hello? So here are just some suggestions for getting involved outside of your nonverbal communication. You can donate clothes, volunteer at shelters or food drives. You can go to ehclifebuilders.com, which is a really helpful resource. It explains how to get involved in a lot of homeless activities, just basically activities to help the homeless be reintegrated back into society, whether that's donating food, clothes, volunteering at shelters. And also here at SJSU, we have housing and homelessness resources. If you go over to the Associated Students House, if you need help, they will help you out. In conclusion, I want you guys to take a look at this video link that will appear after this presentation. It is entitled Have the Homeless Become Invisible? What are some of the nonverbal communication cues that these people are using with the homeless in this video? Would you use the same cues? Have you used the same cues before? And would you simply walk by your own family member? I would like you guys to please write down a one-page reflection on this and come back with it for our next class meeting. I will leave you with this. We may not be able to end the homelessness epidemic in America, but there are things that we can do that will help the homeless be reintegrated back into society. Our communication with one another is powerful. Use it. Don't silence yourself. Talk to the homeless. Engage. Listen to what they are saying and speak to them.